Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a meal with some organic green beans that I got. I'm going to make like a green bean salad. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but basically all it is green beans, and you soak them in like a nice vinaigrette sauce, and they soften up a little bit, so it's kind of like cooking them, but I don't like cooking, so I like to eat all my food raw and live as it can possibly be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick out these little stems and stuff like that, all the little stuff that I don't want, like the ones that aren't good. Break those off. And now I'm just going to cut them up, line them up. I'm just going to cut them in half. Just like that. Cut those right up in half. And since I'm not going to eat anything with this bowl until these are ready, I'm just going to throw them in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the spices. I always like to start with the spices because then you throw all the liquids and stuff on top. So right here I've got one of my spices that I made already. And it's got turmeric, paprika, it's got oregano, basil in it, and I'm not exactly sure of the last one, but I'll taste it and I'll find out later. So I'm just throwing these in here so that when I throw everything else in there, it just starts to marinate. And here's the apple cider vinegar that I made. And I'll be making a video on how to make apple cider vinegar. It's super easy. And as you can see, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm not really worried about how much is going in there. And here's the sunflower oil. And all of this stuff is purely organic. Okay, there we go. And now we're just going to throw a little bit of salt sole in it. So we can get the salt, and the salt's really going to get the juices out of the vegetable and really help soften it up. So I'm going to actually, there's sediment on the bottom here, but I'm actually going to mix the salt solely up so I can get a little bit more salt in there. And get it on these green beans so they'll start to extract, it'll start to pull out the liquids of the green beans. And I'm going to put about 4 squirts of that on there. And then I'm just going to toss this around a little bit to get everything marinating in it. Got my spoon and my fork. Just gonna toss these around and get them all glazed with spices and vinegar and oil and salt so it starts to come out. And then you're just gonna set these in the refrigerator for a while. You can set them out on the counter too. But you might have some bugs or something get in it. You can just cover it up and basically you're just letting it soak. And it's going to taste so good once it soaks all these up. And they're going to be nice and soft. There we go. And we're just going to let that soak. And then we'll come back, and what I'm going to do later is I'm just going to let it soak for about 2 hours. That should be plenty of time. And it's about 6 right now, so but this is going to be a pretty light meal. And I'm probably going to stay up a little bit later tonight. I plan on it. And this is going to be really grounding because it's going to be a lot of greens. So, that's all you do. And you wait 2 hours, and then I'll bring the video back. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit of kelp noodles to it. Just to give a little bit more to it. And this is, that's so good. So good. That's going to taste wonderful after it's done. And there you go. You can see that. Okay, so now we have our green beans that have been soaking for a couple hours, and you can see that they're all nice and soaked, and they taste wonderful. And let me just set up the camera so I can show you. And this is what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to add some of the raw kelp noodles with them. And these things, they're just, yeah, so much better than just eating them raw. I had to eat them raw just to find out, you know, how they taste and what I can do with them. Because if you don't do that, you don't know what they're going to taste like, you know. So, whenever I get anything, I taste it just plain. I don't care if it tastes bad or whatever, you know, I taste it just plain just so I can find out the flavor of it and I can find out what I can do with it. So, as you see though, there's a lot of vinegar and there's a lot of oil still in it. That's just loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like a tablespoon of maca, and that's just going to thicken it up into like a nice sauce. And then I'm going to add the raw kelp noodles in there. So let's go ahead and do that. I got my spoon right here. I'm going to go ahead and add some maca into it, and I'm just going to sprinkle it over there. And then I'm going to add the raw kelp noodles right here. And I'm actually going to open this up and I'm going to cut them up a little bit. I'm not going to add a full half of the pack. I'm just going to add enough to give it some more to eat and some good minerals. And then I'll use this again tomorrow when I make some more of this, because I've got a huge package that I got. And you could feed a family of 5 with how much I got. For just $2 too, for $2, I got this huge package of organic green beans. There we go. Should get those all in there. And now I'm just gonna add some sunflower seeds. I love just adding these in whenever I can. These are organic sunflower seeds. I love just adding those in whenever. And then I've got my hemp seeds in the refrigerator. I'm gonna add just a tablespoon of hemp seeds. I just love adding, you know, seeds and whatever to whatever dish I can, because it just gives it protein, you know, good fats, carbohydrates, and everything that comes with it. So, so yeah, that's my raw kelp noodles and green bean salad. Let's mix it up and see how it looks. See how it comes out. Get the maca mixed in really well. Oh, it's coming out really cool. Looks really nice. Looks almost like a stir fry, actually. If you were to stir fry something with noodles and green beans, it looks just like a raw stir fry. That's what I'm going to call this. It's a raw stir fry, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. I'm going to show you here in a sec. Looks just like a raw stir fry. Look at that. Just like a raw stir fry. Oops. Zoomed in a little bit. There we go. That is wonderful. Alright, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful dinner. I'm going to enjoy mine. Okay, before I end this, I just wanted to show you, after I added the hemp seeds, how pretty it looks and how much it looks like a stir fry. It looks just like a stir fry with like sesame seeds on it or something. And I've actually got some raw organic sesame seeds I could even throw on it too. But it's already looking really nice, so I'm going to go ahead and just go with that. Alright, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful dinner.